When LaShonda Johnson walks through her front door,
I often ask, why me? Why me?
It's not exactly the home sweet home she was expecting to walk into.
It tears me up. I've had nights where I've just, cried.
The tears first came back in January of 2017 when her Bennett Street home in Petal was destroyed by a tornado. The place she's called home for 13 years, gone.
It was devastating to have my home destroyed because I had been here. This is the first home that I purchased on my own, and that was a proud moment for me.
Knowing she wanted to rebuild, Johnson hired Pinebelt Home Builders, a contracting company based out of Purvis. It was a word-of-mouth referral, so she didn't know much about the man who would oversee rebuilding her home.
That he had great ideas with the plans and everything like that.
According to the contract and construction proposal, Johnson's new house was estimated to cost just more than $103,000, with a $9,000 down payment. The completion date was set for November 15, 2017. Johnson would write checks as invoices rolled in, handing over just more than $75,000 before she stopped paying because she says the contractor stopped working. The last check was in October of 2017 when she realized the work she was paying for wasn't getting done and her home wasn't going to be completed by that November deadline.
This one here where they're cracked all the way down.
Missing the deadline, the contractor sent an email December 4th, 2017, telling Johnson her home would now be complete January 31st, 2018. That email even breaks down the work and when it would happen. When that deadline was missed, a third one was put into a contract with a date of March 31st, 2018. This time, the contractor would have to pay or credit Johnson $100 per day after the deadline if her home wasn't substantially complete. As it stands, Johnson still doesn't have a house to live in.
Are you happy with the work he's done?
No, I'm not. Actually, he did not do this. It was just a frame. That's all. He put up the frame and the foundation, so he did not do this.
So you had to pay another contractor double to do the same work?
Exactly, and it's not finished yet.
Johnson says she's paid a new contractor more than $30,000. All totaled, that's more than $105,000 on a house that was supposed to cost her about $103,000.
Do you feel ripped off?
Yes, I do. Yes, I do.
Now she's out of money and living with her mother.
I never could have imagined in a million years that I would be going through this.
We looked up Pinebelt Home Builders on the State Board of Contractors website. From all accounts, the company is in good standing, no complaints, and licensed for residential work. Johnson says she was supposed to get a refund back in March. That didn't happen. Then the refund was supposed to happen in June. That didn't happen either. So we gave the contractor a call. He says he basically took on too much work at once and would try to resolve the matter. A few days after making that call, Johnson started getting her money back.
Do you find that some contractors may take on too much work at once, resulting in some of those issues?
I mean, certainly some contractors can get spread out and then get spread too thin, and then they leave issues with a particular homeowner maybe not getting taken care of.
Stephanie Lee is the executive director of the Mississippi Board of Contractors, which is the administrative agency that regulates construction contractors throughout the state. She says when it comes to hiring a contractor, do your homework. Don't rush into a contract or repairs. Verify the license. Check references. Don't give cash up front. Ask for a copy of an insurance policy, and be leery of door-to-door solicitors. This is especially true after a disaster. You can even check for complaints and licenses on the Board of Contractors website.
If it doesn't show up on our website, they don't have a license with the state.
New 2x4s.
In Johnson's case, though, everything seemed legit.
If someone does hire a licensed contractor and workmanship issues arise, what's their recourse?
If they can file a complaint with our agency, it can be investigated, and if it merits a hearing, it'll be brought for disciplinary hearing in front of the board.
That could lead to a $5,000 penalty per violation for the contractor. Depending on the violation, a contractor's license could even be revoked.
This here's a walk-in closet here.
While none of the warning signs were there for her, Johnson says she wants to close the door on a 1.5-year long nightmare.
I just want my house completed. That's the most important thing.
The State Board of Contractors has an app where you can check a contractor's license and even file a complaint. Take a look at it. This is it. Let's say you want to search for a contractor in Mississippi to make sure they are licensed. Tap Search Contractor at the bottom. A search form will populate for you. Type in the keywords, whether that's the contractor's name or the contractor's company, press submit, and you're done. Let's say you want to file a complaint against a contractor. Tap on More on the bottom right-hand side of this menu. Then you're going to go to Forms. That's going to bring up a list of forms you can choose from. The one you're looking for right here, complaint form. Tap that, it's going to bring up a PDF. You can scroll through here and see what you need to fill out. It is simple to do. Now in Mississippi, keep in mind, contractors are required to have a license if the work they're doing is more than $10,000 for residential remodeling or improvement. If it's a new home, a license is required for more than $50,000. Mike McDaniel, WDAM investigates.
Opening his door, Michael Solakovic says he walks into a nightmare, supposed to be his first home.
It's a living hell. You know, nightmares, putting it lightly. I don't even know.
To build his home, Solakovic hired contractor Kenton McNeese, who owns Pine Belt Home Builders based in Purvis. According to the contract, work was to begin July 5th on the nearly 1,000 square foot home in Lamar County with a completion date of September 20th. The price, $78,000. Paying $15,000 up front after the first month, Solakovic says he noticed not much was getting done.
Pretty much anything that looks somewhat complete was done by us.
More than 2 months past the completion date, that nightmare for Solakovic continues.
What have the excuses been about not having the home complete?
It would be easier for me to tell you what excuses he didn't use at this point.
Solakovic hired McNeese based on a recommendation, and this isn't the first time he's been accused of not doing the work.
Naturally, we didn't, go too deep, trying to research on him. And then when we finally did, we found the original story that you had done, and that was, I was pretty much like, oh no.
This one here.
That story is from July. A homeowner in Petal hired McNeese to rebuild her home, destroyed by a tornado. She says she paid more than $105,000 for an unfinished home, which, according to her contract, was supposed to be complete at just more than $103,000.
It was just one, just false truth after another. He needs to be held accountable for what he's done.
For Solakovic, it's the same story. As the invoices rolled in and money paid, Solakovic says work slowed down and for a lot of days didn't happen.
There was nothing that was completed within time at all. The only thing that he's done that he said he was going to do was show up to pick up the check.
In an email sent September 13th, McNeese says he will continue the daily grind on the house as promised and get her complete on time and on budget. Solakovic had no idea 17 days before McNeese sent that email, a lawsuit was filed against McNeese and his company in Forest County Court for breach of contract, negligence, and fraud. Digging through court records, we found at least 5 lawsuits against McNeese in Forest and Lamar counties from this year alone. They're from homeowners, suppliers, and debt collectors alleging McNeese used unskilled workers, didn't complete work, or owes thousands of dollars for materials. A lawsuit filed in August claims McNeese was supposed to repair a home in Petal damaged by a fire. The contract with Pine Belt Home Builders shows a completion date of March 18, 2018, which the suit claims would cost nearly $57,000 to be paid with insurance money. The suit claims McNeese was to put the money in an escrow account, but instead embezzled it for his own benefit or used it to pay for other construction jobs. The homeowner claims McNeese would send his workers to other projects, and for most of January, February, and March, no one showed up to do any work. It's a similar story in a lawsuit filed October 16th in Lamar County. It claims McNeese was supposed to build a $44,000 boathouse with a December 1st, 2017 completion date. As of the filing, nearly a year later and almost $27,000 paid, it claims the boathouse has no walls, roof, or operational parts, only minor foundation and framing. Searching through records from the Secretary of State's office, McNeese has operated under at least 2 construction businesses. Vintage South Construction was dissolved in 2016. The only active one, which is also licensed through the State Board of Contractors, is Pine Belt Home Builders. Both have lawsuits filed against them. When it comes to the State Board of Contractors, McNeese has 3 complaints against him. 2 were dismissed, the other pending. We got a copy of the pending complaint from September of this year, which alleges gross negligence or misconduct for a home in Hattiesburg.
None of the outlets in here work.
Solakovic says he had to spend more money on other contractors and materials to fix or complete work he paid McNeese to do. That's also a claim in those court documents.
As it stands now, can you live in this home?
Absolutely not. Not unless I wanted to go to the bathroom in a bucket and freeze to death.
Do you feel cheated?
Absolutely. absolutely.
What do you want to see done?
I mean, I just want him to do what he was paid to do, but he's made it clear that that's not going to happen.
After several attempts to contact McNeese, we finally got an email saying in part, the failure of Pine Belt Home Builders as a builder remodeler has caused many allegations to arise and are being addressed privately. Pine Belt Home Builders is no longer practicing construction and has no intention to participate in the construction industry again.
The State Board of Contractors is looking into that pending complaint against McNeese, which could result in a hearing. Over on our website, we break down what to keep in mind when hiring a contractor and what you can do if you feel like you're being taken for a ride. Mike McDaniel, WDAM Investigates.